Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gauntlet calendar. Tonight we are playing session 11 of an ongoing series of Against the Slavers, which is a module series originally written for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons back in 1981. For the rule set, we are using Necrotic Gnome's Old School Essentials, which is a retro clone of the 1981 Tom Moldvay edition of the D&D Basic and Expert set. My name is Mike. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be the game master tonight. A little bit about the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an online role-playing gaming community. We have hundreds of members who are from all over the world. We run a monthly gaming calendar that's free and open for anyone to join. We run about 100 games a month, give or take. In addition to running games, we're also a podcast network. We run a forum. We have a daily blog, and we also have a publishing arm. And as of this recording, the Gauntlet is currently running a Kickstarter for a story game called Brindlewood Bay, which is a powered by the Apocalypse story game about retired women who are amateur sleuths investigating cozy murders, but then find that there is a conspiracy in their little town that's linked to cultists and a dark conspiracy. The game is basically Murder, She Wrote meets The Shadow over Innsmouth, and it's amazing. You can check that out over on Kickstarter. Look for Brindlewood Bay, or there's a link to it from the Gauntlet main page, which is gauntlet-rpg.com. Okay, a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Mike Ferdinando. I live in upstate New York. I've been playing tabletop role-playing games since 1981. Played a lot of games over the years. Most recently, really the last 6 or 7 years, I've mostly been playing story games and indie RPGs, a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse, a lot of Trophy, a lot of Fate. But I've decided to hop into some, go back to the beginning and play some old school essentials, which is what we're here to do tonight. Well, enough about me. Let's go around the table and introduce our other fine players. Let's go counterclockwise as I have you on my screen here. So, Ben, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben. My pronouns are he, him, and I am fairly new to the Gauntlet, having just this is, I think, my second or third game, but I'm already signed up for a bunch more, so people will be seeing me more on that outlet. But in my own role-playing game, I GM Warhammer roleplay, and I also play 5th edition D&D, and I'm always fascinated to learn about new systems and to learn from other GMs how they do it, and so this has been really fun. Going back to the playing with just back in my days, kids would have fun all day with a stick, and this is basically what this is. And it turns out that it's a whole lot of fun if because the game itself is really fun. So that's who I am, and I'm excited to be back.
Awesome, thanks, Ben. And Anya, would you please introduce yourself?
Yep. Hi, I'm Anya. My pronouns are she, her. I've been playing with the Gauntlet for about 6 months now, I think. I started role-playing with 3.5 in the mid-2000s, and I didn't like it at all. I played GM-less games for the longest time until a few years ago. I played Apocalypse World, and since then, I've changed my mind about everything that a game master can be and a game mastered game can be. And last year, I began running 5th edition for my partner, and she seemed to have a lot of fun. So I began looking back into other editions, and here I am checking Old School Essentials.
Pausing a moment because an emergency vehicle just drove by my house, and I didn't want to record the siren. Awesome, glad to have you. Glad to have you with us, Anya. Just to note, we do have we will have another player joining us in a little bit. We'll pause the game and have him introduce himself once he's able to join us. Probably maybe, well, anyway, hopefully he'll be here in like half an hour-ish, but we're going to start going without him. Also of note, we do have one other player who is not able to join us tonight. We are going to be bringing his character along as an NPC. We also have one more character that's player that's not been with us for several sessions, and we've been bringing that character along as well. Hopefully, that other player will be able to join us the next session. But anyway, so yeah, so we're going to be starting off a little unusual that we've got a party that's got 2-player characters and 3 non-player characters, but we'll make it work to start. Alrighty then. Next thing I want to talk briefly about is emotional safety at the gaming table. This is, the 3 of us have been playing have been playing a few sessions together, and so we're familiar with our safety tools. But for those who are watching at home, I just want to let you know that we are playing with 3 different. We're playing with 3 safety tools. We're taking a layered approach here. We're going to use the open door policy. The open door policy means any of us can call a break at any time. Any of us are free to come and go as we please. Because this is a game that we're playing with people that we mostly only know over the internet, and real life takes precedence. That's open door in a nutshell. That's about our personal physical comfort and safety. The next tool we're going to be using is called lines and veils. We have called out we've called out some subject matters that we either don't want to deal with in the game at all, or we've decided that we're only going to deal at a distance. A line is a subject that we just don't want to deal with in the game. So I won't introduce it. Other players won't introduce it. I am running from a prepared module. If the module talks about anything like that, I will do my best to, on the fly, edit around that. We also have some veils. Veils are subjects that we may acknowledge happen in the game. We may find signs or hear stories of them happening in the game, but they're not going to happen on camera. They're not going to happen to any of the player characters. So these are subjects that we're going to treat very very cautiously. We also have a third category called Ask First. Those are some things that may be okay on some circumstances and not in others. And so we have that list in front. We have those subjects, and again, those are things that we'll have a little out of character chat before we engage with those subject matters. I have a list of our lines and veils on a stick note that's floating at the top of my screen, so I will keep an eye on it, and hopefully more than hopefully we will honor our lines and veils. The third tool we've got is called the X card. The X card is a reactive tool. If anything happens in the game that makes you feel uncomfortable, whether that's something that happens in game or something that's happening between the players, you can say the phrase X card, or if you're on camera, you can make an X gesture with your arms. Invoking the X card is telling the GM and the other players that we need to pause the game and have a chat. So when that happens, we'll have a chat. We're all adults here. We'll figure out what we need, what it is we need to change and what to do about it. Whether that's we'll rewind the scene and play it out without that element, whether that means we'll just kind of jump cut to the next scene, or do some other kinds of edits. We'll figure that out, and we'll make the appropriate changes, and we'll move on. And if in our enthusiasm for the game, someone accidentally steps on a line or a veil, please, if someone else when someone else notices, please immediately invoke the X card so we can back away from that. I try really, really, really hard to honor lines and veils. Every once in a while, I mess up, and it's not intentional. If that happens, X card, apologize, we'll move on. that was my really abbreviated safety tool discussion. Does anyone have any questions before we move on? Awesome. So
I have questions, but not about that, about Zal's character. So I don't know if this is the right time.
Oh, right. Well, why don't we talk about that? I was going to give a recap first, but yeah. Why don't
Oh,
we talk
so
about...
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I think that's fine. Why don't we go ahead and...
Well, and the questions I had is that he has a ring of spell storing.
He does have a ring of spell storing. Let me pull up his character sheet. Where is stuff on this? There it is.
And so
he had a ring of, he had a ring of spell storing, and he had and so basically you can put spells into that ring and cast them as if you have them memorized.
Got it. And so if you're looking at it like I am, right? It seems like one of them is, well, so he would have recharged all three, I take it.
I think he would, yeah.
And is it a case of, so I don't know, I'm gonna guess brackets is recharged. And it's a case of these specific three being he could recast in, right? It's not a case of like storing other ones in there.
No, it's you have to set it up ahead of time. It takes time and effort to do that. So this is what you've got in the dungeon, and I'm pretty sure the brackets. I think the brackets mean has already been cast.
Okay, but that was in the other adventure anyway, so we can assume he
Well, I know you did. I know you cast web in this adventure because that's how you took out. Isn't that how you took out the knoll guards? And
no, he cast sleep twice.
That was sleep twice. Okay. Well, in that case, yes, I think we can remove those brackets and say that those have been recharged.
And so that means that the scroll that's just under it is probably totally used then, right? Because scroll is just once.
Scrolls are one and done. Those can't be reused. So I think
that seems. I don't remember him using light. Do you remember him using lightning bolt in another?
I thought he did.
Oh, on the cloaker, right?
He used it on the cloaker, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes total sense. And then other question for you, Mike. I remember that when Father Tuck or Caldas, no, Father Tuck and Woodchuck got their goo over them, it slowed them down.
Yep.
And remember that Zal, true to what Jim did, decided to get some goo in a vial. Yep. And so I guess you can tell me, I guess, if I use the vial on someone, what it does at that point, but I can guess that it's going to slow someone down if I throw it on them, right?
Yeah, it's it does. The way you've noticed is it takes a little while for that. It's almost like, it's almost got the consistency of like rubber cement once it starts to harden. So it does.
Got it.
It does make it, but it does take a little while to harden. So it might not be useful as a weapon, but it could be very useful for other reasons. And you also have found that it does act as a bit of an insulator against electricity.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So yeah, you got a vial of that, and I'll say I'm going to say a vial is enough to like coat a person.
Perfect.
Okay.
Like one use, just to make it easy.
Perfect. Thank you.
So why don't we go ahead and introduce our characters, and then I'll give then I'll let people know where we are. Anya, would you introduce us? Would you let us know about Caldas, please?
Yep, I'm playing Caldas, the barbarian, and she was rescued by the party in the previous adventure. And she saw one of her companions, one of her rescuers, die just a couple of meters from her. And now she's joined to avenge Mr. Gaff, who is played by Tim, who is not here right now.
Awesome. And Ben, would you tell us about Bah-Rûn?
Bah-Rûn is a dwarf gladiator who also was rescued by the party and took it upon himself to assist them from then on. He is willing to run into rooms first and help his friends as best he can, taking many hits in the process. And he too carries the memory of Calf, whom we lost in the last adventure. and he wants to make it all the losses worth it by fighting the slavers. He has a flair for the no, not a flair. He has a something for, he has a sense of glamour from pleasing the crowds of the arenas.
Okay. A flair for the dramatic.
A flair for the dramatic. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Mike.
That's okay. So also with us are well, three other characters whose players aren't with us, or at least not with us yet. We have Woodchuck, who is a human thief who has claimed to be an expert on these, who is claimed to the party to be an expert on, to like know the secret entrances in, but as time goes on, I think we have found that perhaps he doesn't quite know as much as he had expressed. Woodchuck is played by Vincent, who will hopefully is our player who will hopefully be joining us in probably half an hour or so. Also with us is Father Geronimus Tuck, who is our cleric. I don't think Tim decided what god he is a cleric of, but that's okay. But yeah, he is our holy person. His big shtick is he has a magic item, which is a staff of the serpent, which he can use to command it. Like on a hit, he can say a command word and it turns into a constrictor snake, which can grapple an opponent. And finally with us is Zalalazaz the Sporadic, our wizard, or as they call it in Old School Essentials, our magic user. Yeah, so he is our expert on all things arcane. But this being Old School Essentials, magic users do not have very many spells. So, and when they use their spells, it is dramatic, but they don't get very many. So that is our party. So, the story so far. A ruthless band of bloodthirsty marauders and pirates have been plaguing the coastal regions of this land for years. Rather than deal with them directly, the local lords had been trying to bribe and pay them off to not attack their lands for many years, which worked for a while. But recently, these marauders have happily taken the bribes, but have continued to attack the lands of the lords who were trying to bribe them. They were going so far as to attacking coastal towns and taking basically every man, woman, and child in these towns as captive, loading them onto ships and sailing them off to God's know where. This has become untenable from the perspective of the local lords, and they've decided it is well past time to do something about it. Instead of trying to assemble a navy and a whole lot of Marines and trying to attack these marauders at sea, they have chosen to take a stealth approach and have hired several bands of adventurers to go into places where these marauders had been rumored to be, to try to find out what's going on. Your party was one such band of adventurers. You were placed into the city of Highport, which was once a thriving city, but fell to barbarians and barbarous humanoids about 20 years ago. And the city is now a haven for evil humanoids and bandits and these slavers. After scouting around, you found a slaver stronghold, which was in a ruined temple, now rededicated to the Orcish god Grumpsh. You went in there, you infiltrated, you got a lot of intelligence, you snuck into the basement, you killed one of the leaders of the slavers, but then you were discovered and beat a hasty retreat. However, on your way out, you did manage to find a whole lot of intelligence more about the slavers' operation and where their nearest stronghold was, and was also kind of being used as a collection point to bring their captives and bring them farther on for further, like for further profit based on human misery. You checked in with your employers who said, great, wonderful intelligence, and the reward for a job well done is another job. So you were then sent in to infiltrate and to find the secret of the Slavers' Stockade, which was up in the mountains. So you went up there, you were able to sneak in. You, again, did a whole bunch of intelligence, killed a whole lot of them, freed a whole bunch of captives, and killed a few more of their leaders. And from there, you found intelligence that you really needed to act upon fast. And that is the location of the slavers' central stronghold, which was in a city known as Suderham, which was located on an island in a caldera lake inside a dormant volcano, many miles to the northeast. You decided, rather than check in, that the time was right, and they seemed to have received some amount of intelligence that their people were on to them, and so you decided to strike while the iron was hot. These plans showed you a secret backdoor entrance into the city, because the main entrance was heavily guarded and you didn't think you were going to be able to sneak in. So you're going in through this back door. And it turned out that now that you got to the back door, which is up the side of this mountain, it wasn't nearly as simple as you were expecting it to be. This was not unguarded, and it's been full of guards and monsters and bizarre traps. So you have made your way. Through this dungeon complex, for lack of a better word, and you now find yourselves standing before a closed door in apparently you've followed sort of like a maze-like set of corridors around, and there's a single door out of here that isn't the way that you've come. So you think this is the way to go next. So you're in a corridor. It's east-west. It's about 50 feet long. In the center of the corridor, facing south, is a door.
Bah-Rûn, who was walking in front, gripping his axe, turns back at Caldas, who's probably close by, being the other sturdy combatant, and says, "Well, lass, looks like we're gonna be needed again."
I turn to Bah-Rûn, and I check on the others who were stiffened by the substance we fell in last time, and I just tell him it seems like we are all good to go. I think.
Woodchuck, would you want to lend your pretty ears to this door and let us know if you hear anything?
Woodchuck rolls his eyes and says, "Well, okay, I'm happy to do that. That's, I guess, what I'm here for." So he presses his ear against the door, and let me roll a die. And Woodchuck presses his ear against the door, and you see him concentrate. He looks around some more, and he stands up and he whispers, "I don't hear anything."
Do you remember this room from the time you escaped from here, Woodchuck?
I think it must have come a different way. This might, I thought this was the cave complex I came in, but it must have been a different one, because I don't remember this door.
All right, fair enough. Well, I guess we're gonna have to deal with it the traditional way then. Let's hope there's nothing behind it. And exchanging a glance with Caldas and the group, making sure we're all ready to go, Bah-Rûn is going to slowly open the door and push it open.
It is not locked. So let me Close this character sheet and reveal the room. Opening this room, the door opens into a moderately sized bare rectangular room. This is a bare 50-foot by 30-foot, 50-foot, a 50 by 30 room with a 20-foot ceiling. Hanging from the center of the ceiling is a long, thick rope. The rope hangs down to about 4 feet off the ground, and it's just hanging there in the center of the room.
What's at the top of it?
You know, it does not look like it has an anchor point. In fact, looking at the top, it looks like it goes into a small hole in the ceiling.
Mm.
We have a rope that's similar to that, don't we, Mr. Baron?
We do indeed. Ours is magical, and then it comes all the way. Does it coil on the floor, or does it just stop at the floor?
Nope. It hangs down from the ceiling and it lands about 4 feet above the floor.
Oh, 4 feet above the floor, so about just above over my head, I suppose.
No, I think 4 feet is a little more than a meter.
Yeah,
you're a dwarf.
Sorry, yeah, it's about it's a little more than a meter. It's like a meter and it's like
Yeah, just over my head.
yeah, it's like 1.3 meters.
Well, the people who built this this complex had a strange idea of decoration and convenience. I don't know where this rope leads, nor do I want to know what happens when you pull on it.
Yeah,
There are
Zal says that is very odd to just have a rope hanging out of the ceiling.
It is.
I do have a lantern. Can I point it up to see if we find something, or we should, as far as I'm concerned, we should move on without touching the rope.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there's something up there.
Okay, yeah, I don't think there's any roll needed here. Yeah, you shine the light up there. There's not a lot of space. There's, maybe this rope this rope mostly fills the hole. It's a thick rope. It's a good, the rope's pretty thick. It's like a good 4 inches thick. Let me just make sure I've got.
And there's no door in this room, right?
No, you do not see any doors in this room.
Okay. Well, okay, so Caldas, what we could do is we could all leave this room, and then from outside, attach our mat. If we're just curious, if we can't help but see what happens,
yeah,
we could attach our rope to it and pull on it. But that's really because we couldn't resist the urge, because it's not a good idea.
But if we do it, we should do it from the other room, right?
From outside, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. If we go from outside, but we don't need to do that unless.
Are you going to do that?
No. We're just talking. We're just talking. Right now, we don't have another way out, so we could look around to see if there's another way out, but there doesn't seem to be even a way out up there, because it's just a small hole that's barely large enough for the rope to go through.
Yeah,
right?
The rope is about 4 inches in diameter, and the hole in the ceiling is maybe 4.5 inches in diameter. So
it looks like something that would be attached to a bell tower or something, right? And
it does look like the kind of rope that would be attached to a bell.
And we don't necessarily want to ring any bells.
No.
And it's huge. It's bigger than, you said it's this big, right? It's bigger than a normal rope.
Oh, it's much thicker than a normal rope. This rope's it's like, it's like the rope you'd use to tie to a it's like the really thick ropes that you use in like tall ships.
Or a
ship,
to
tie the ship down to a pier, but it's a really thick rope. It's like 4 inches in diameter. It's hemp.
So
At least it
since
looks like hemp. I'm guessing you said you didn't want to touch it, but you
we didn't touch it.
look at
no.
it closely.
But since we started to know the sick mind of the conceivers of this complex, Bah-Rûn grumbles, and he is assuming that there's some trap attached to this. So he's gonna look for like little holes in the wall, or maybe
Yeah,
at
let's check for a secret door.
Poking around or looking
something,
for secret doors.
yeah, or
Okay.
any sort of like, things that would let in gas or oil, or because you could also drop a liquid or oil very easily along a piece of string like that.
Okay, so you are searching for secret doors.
Or traps.
I would ask, are all of you searching? I mean, obviously Woodchuck is going to, because that's he's your he's your thief, so he's going to be the one who's going to like book around.
Well, I think a dwarf probably also. Let me guess. Let me look. I think I also have a pretty good.
Oh, that's true. You've got to think about you've got to think about stonework, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. Listen at door, find secret door. I know. Just 1 out of 6. It looks like. Detect construction tricks. 2 in 6.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll? Why don't you go ahead and roll that one?
And of course in OSR it doesn't evolve with level, right? It's just it's always 2 in 6.
It's always 2 in 6.
All right, so let me do this. Where is it? Here we go. Detects construction. 5. No. 5. Yeah, fail.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, it looks like a pretty normal room.
All right. And then you said Woodchuck is gonna look for
Woodchuck, I guess,
doors.
is going to. I guess he's gonna go in and he's gonna like look around and look for traps. And I'm just gonna roll this one open. I better roll. Actually,
Find secret doors. Yeah.
I better roll this. I better roll this secret just to be OSR-ish about it. And so he's looking for traps. Okay. So Woodchuck's going around and he's got like this little tiny hammer and he's like tapping at the walls and listening and tapping at the floor and let me do check for one other thing here. Oh, what do you know? I hate doing this with NPCs, but Woodchuck rolled well. So Woodchuck then says, okay, got some, well, I'm not sure if it's good news or bad news, but I got some news. He like does one of these things to like have you gather around, and he brings you to the section of the wall immediately opposite the door that you came in. And he takes a little bit of like from his, I guess, like from his thieves tools, he takes this little tiny pouch that's like got really, really fine like fine black powder, and he like blows it on the wall, and you can now, when he does that, you can see the outline of a secret door. And let me just do a little more reveal here so that you can see exactly where
I have a crowbar.
Well done, brother Woodchuck.
Area. So yeah, there's a secret door there. He then says, the problem is, I don't see a way to open this.
Oh.
But here's the other thing. And he looks down at the floor. This floor that we're standing on is one big ass pit trap.
Let's step back slowly.
I don't know. I mean, it's he jumps up and down a little bit. It seems perfectly solid. I'm guessing that it's somehow going to open, but I don't know why it seems totally solid, but I don't know what the triggering mechanism is.
Well, I'm gonna guess it's either this rope or this door, or the two of
Yeah.
them combined.
I was going to say, and then to that, Zal says, I'm guessing it's going to be both of them combined, and I'm guessing it's that. And he points at the rope.
Yes. So that goes back to the idea that Caldas had, that we could pull this rope from outside,
From the other room, yeah.
from the
We
corridor,
can
right?
also, I don't know if we have enough tools, but I have a crowbar. We could just try to break the wall, but I don't know if that would work without pulling the rope ever.
Yeah, the seam on the door, because Chuck pointed it out to you. This is a really good secret door. There's like you couldn't slide a piece of paper in that. It seals super tight. So there's like
Okay.
there's like no leverage point that you could really force a crowbar into.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's pull from the corridor, I guess.
Okay, so you're going. So you tie. Are you using your rope? Are you using your magical rope, or are you using a regular rope to tie?
Oh, I guess if it's just to tie, we could just use a regular rope. The only beauty of the
How about-
magical rope is it can let go. What do you think? Regular rope, no?
Regular rope, yeah.
Okay.
I have one.
Okay, you tie your. Okay, yeah. So go ahead and Go ahead and if you're doing the tying, go ahead and tell us what that looks like, and like set the scene, and I'll tell you what happens when you pull it.
I think I used to take cares of some animals back home, so nuts are a pretty regular thing for me to do. I tie my rope, trying not to disturb the rope as minimum as possible, and just slowly walk out. And we have the rope on this side, and
Everyone
I'm gonna
walks
go
out.
ahead. Yeah, everyone walks out, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull by myself because I don't want to risk anybody else in case something else happens.
Yeah. We could even like do it through a partly closed door so you don't risk
Okay.
anything coming out.
Okay, so here's what happens. So you pull the rope. It takes a fair amount. I mean, it takes a fair amount of force, especially since you're pulling it at an angle. But I don't think there's a roll here necessary. So you pull the rope, and you pull on your rope, which is attached to this other rope, and two things happen. First of all, that secret door, it just swings right open into darkness. Into darkness. The second thing that happens is the entire floor of the room like opens like right down the middle. It just kind of collapses down. And when you look down in there, looks like it's a drop of about 10 feet into a pool of water, and you definitely see something moving around in the water.
I have two ideas.
Shoot.
One is fun, and one I think is safe.
When is fun and when is safe?
I think.
That's awesome. All right, let's hear the safe part. Let's keep the best part for the end. What's the safe one?
I don't know if this is possible, but I've seen it done. Not effectively. Why don't we tie a rope? Why don't we keep the door open? Tie a rope to an arrow and shoot to the other side. Or maybe even if it's long enough with the magical rope, maybe it can anchor to something on the other side.
Yeah, I should be able to. Hey, Vincent.
Hello. Hey, Vincent.
Hey,
Hey, Vincent. Welcome. Hi.
And, well, that was pretty fun already, Caldas. That was your safe idea. Now there's a fun idea.
The fun idea is
if
we just
I could
to
enter
the other side.
If
We're
I could interrupt
swinging,
real quick, Vincent, just to let you know, when you came in. This session is being recorded. Is that okay with you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. I didn't want you to say or do anything if it was uncool to like immediately pop in and be on camera, but the camera is rolling, so cool. So welcome, Vincent. Since this is being recorded, would you quickly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the character you're playing?
Hi, everybody. Sorry for joining in late. My name is Vincent. My pronouns are he, him. I am playing Woodchuck the Thief, who claims to have been through these dungeons many a time during the time that he was a slave, a captive of these awful slavers. He is out for glory and feels that assigning himself over to an established and fantastic adventuring crew is the greatest way to attain it.
Awesome. So here's what happened. Here's what has happened thus far. So you got into this room. It was a big bare room. It had a rope dangling down from the ceiling, like a big thick rope, like the kind you'd use to tie up a ship, like 4 inches across. And I rolled for you, Woodchuck, and you rolled really well. You got both your find traps roll and your find secret doors roll. So you found a secret door, but no mechanism to open it. You also realized that the entire floor of this room was one giant trap. And you concluded that the rope hanging down was indeed the trigger for both. So you all went back out into the corridor. Caldas tied a regular rope to the big rope. Y'all went back into the hallway. You pulled the rope. It took a bit of force, but pulling on the rope that was hanging from the ceiling both opened the secret door, but it also caused the entire floor of the room to fall away. And looking down, it goes about 10 feet down and into water. And you definitely see something moving around in the water down there.
And then Caldas was presenting her safe idea to get across, and that was just the preamble for the fun idea, which I think is swinging across, right? You actually said it.
Yeah, you just swing across
Yeah.
from
that is
the
pretty
big
awesome
rope.
too. A little less safe because then we're going to be rolling dexterity checks and failing them.
My worry is how maybe we can test that. How fast does the door closes once you let go of the big rope? Because if you swing and let go,
you need to have about you seem to need to have about like 30 or 40 pounds of pressure on the rope, because once you release it, both doors shut, both the secret door closes and the thing closes when you let go of the rope.
And this is easy. This is easy to deal with. We simply tie something that weighs 30 pounds or more to the bottom of this rope and then swing along the rope.
Yeah, that's good. And note that we could also if we have pythons, I don't know, we could also attach ourselves next to the secret door, right?
That I was gonna say that, and I'm gonna call that the funnest idea. Because then the floor opens below your feet.
I mean, we can even do it one at a time. Like one person puts them on the door, holds on to those, then everyone goes out, pulls the thing in. I don't know. How do you want to
last one swings across, I think, because there's one last person that stays behind.
Well, they don't need to. They don't need to, because they could be at the door holding to a python when they pull, right? Oh, they got to keep holding on to it for it to be open. Yeah. Okay.
But if there's an additional weight on the rope that's pulling it down.
Yeah, like you were saying, if we attach something to it. Although I don't know if we have something to attach to it. This room is completely empty.
Yep, the room is completely bare. I'm just tossing some things on. So
but once we're in the secret,
so the rope that hangs down, it's a 20-foot ceiling, and that big rope is only about the rope is only 16 feet long.
Right,
so,
right. So it's not gonna make it to the. It's not. I mean, no, we have to attach an extension to it. We have to do a fisherman's knot.
Well, that should be easy enough, right?
Yeah.
I vote funnest idea, and then we figure out for the last person.
All right, go ahead. Or run us through it.
Can I go and what's the word, attach? Hammer in my pythons next to the secret door for somebody.
okay, so
to
you're
hang
so
on
you
to.
so you're letting go, so basically you're letting go of the rope so the
Yep.
floor comes back up. Okay.
Yep.
And
And
so
walking
you're
across the room
okay.
and hammering in the
So you're-
pythons.
Okay, so you're hammering in. You're hammering in a few of the. So you're hammering in some pitons next to the door. Okay,
Yep. For somebody to hang on to.
so you can
I
like
don't
stand
know.
on. So you can basically you stand on one and you hold on to one that's like above your head. So to like brace yourself. Is that the
Yeah.
idea? Okay,
Yeah.
I love it.
And I don't know who wants to go first before I pull the rope.
Got it. So you do.
Well-
So you do 2 sets of those on either side. So you got 2. So I assume you got. So you can have 2 people like wait there. So who's gonna? So yeah, I love this. So
I'm happy to go first because I also try to hold the door or from inside. Maybe I'll grab a couple of pittons from you because it's possible that I can jam the door and then you can maybe get the trap door back up with the magic door not closing. You know what I mean? And then you would only have to walk across.
Yeah.
Worth a try. So I grab a
that sounds
couple of
good.
pittons and I'm gonna go hold on to the pittons that Caldas put into the wall. And I guess we can have 2 people, right?
It sounds like it.
You wanna come
Yeah.
with me, Woodchuck? See how that goes?
And sorry, so we have 2 other people. Or are we basically making the 2 effective NPCs be the ones to swing across?
I mean,
No,
you don't-
because
No,
Caldas and Zal and Father Tuck are still back there. There's still 3 people back there. If we manage to get the secret door stuck, and then Caldas lets go of the rope, they would just have to walk across.
Okay.
If all goes well.
Let's see what we can do.
Calda, so you're putting like a high and a low piton on either side of the secret door. So someone can, I guess, so Bah-Rûn and Woodchuck can stand and hold on to the pitons while you pull the rope. It'll open the secret door and cause the floor to fall away.
Yep.
So Woodchuck and Bah-Rûn are going to then enter into the secret door, and you're going to try to like
Jam the device.
jam the door. So at least jam the secret door so that it stays open when you release the.
Yeah, and if
Yep.
that goes well, they would have. I mean, I don't know that Woodchuck is on board with being in the first wave. I can ask Father Tuck.
No. I'm the only one that knows it's on the other side of that door. So
Yeah.
clearly, and I don't want to ruin the surprise though, but I should be there.
Okay. Oh wow. Also, there's something there. Okay, cool. All
I
right,
mean,
so we're gonna
what do you
try
think
that.
there is? A black hole? Literally nothing? That would be absurd.
Okay.
Woodchuck's really hoping it's not a black hole on the other side of that door.
Because that would be bad. So is that the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think a roll is needed. I think this is a really clever way to have solved this riddle. So let me just double check this. Let me just double check this thing. Just make sure I'm not forgetting something. Yeah, I don't think we need any rolls here. So this plane goes off without a hitch because I don't see any way that, I mean, I don't see anything that would indicate that your plan wouldn't work. So I think it just works. This is a clever way to, I think I'm just going to OSR, and I'm gonna OSR up and make a table ruling and say that, I think this just works.
Awesome.
You clevered your way past this. So go ahead and describe the scene.
So I think that, we're standing there on the edge on these pythons. I think the one moment that it seems things might go wrong is when we're having a countdown for the swing across. And we have a miscommunication about if it's on 3 or after 3. And Woodchuck is expecting that's 1, 2, 3, go, instead of it's 1, 2, go.
3, right? Got it.
So he almost is not perfectly balanced on his python as the floor drops out.
Got it.
So there's just like the moment that like the floor drops out and your heart drops out, but he manages to grab hold as the door swings open, and he and Bah-Rûn step through and get about jamming.
Okay. Yeah, and Bah-Rûn, why don't you? I mean, you're our stone expert. How do you how do you jam the secret door open?
Well, I lean out and first I lean out and try to get the pythons, I don't know how it's pronounced, back, the ones we were standing on by holding them by the end.
I mean, you can have more pitons if you need them.
Okay.
I mean, they generally come in a pack of 12. So
I try to
all
get
pronouncing it differently. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm gonna try to get them out, as many as I can, because 12 is not that much, and we just use at least 4. So I'm gonna try to get some of them back, and then I'm going to just jam it between the bottom of the door and the floor. Just hammer a couple of them in until it looks like it's really gonna prevent it from coming back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stand in front of it also, so if it tries to move, I'll try to push it back.
Okay, so you have secured. You think you've secured the door as much as you can. I think you've just secured that door as much as you can with the equipment that you have. So you're giving a signal to Caldas to let go of the rope. Is that how you're going to do it?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I let go.
Okay. And I mean, I know that it already worked, but I think it's to give slack on the rope. It wouldn't have been let go of the rope in case it didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what happens. There's a there's like a grinding sound of like gears or stone on stone or something like that, and you see the door strain on the against the pitons you've sunk into the floor. Your pitons hold, and the floor mechanism starts to right itself, but it only gets up to about a 45-degree angle and then it stops.
That's not as good.
Because the door blocked it. I see.
Yeah, it looks like the mechanism that both opened the door and dropped the secret door. It looks like that's basically on one giant gear mechanism.
Okay.
Blocking one blocks the other.
So I'm gonna prep. Let's see. I think I have a rope also. I'm gonna prep a rope from my side, tied around my sturdy little waist.
I'm just going to toss out there. Don't forget, you do have that magic item, the rope of climbing, which you've used numerous times so far.
Yeah. I know
that almost feels like cheating at this point.
Yeah, on this
Fair enough.
one, I'm gonna tie that around my and just Because I think they're at 45. So if they just kind of run down the
Yeah.
first one and jump on the other one with a rope to pull them up, they should be okay, right?
Yeah, I think if we can retcon it a bit, maybe you went ahead, maybe then Father Talk and I never remember how to pronounce, and Salas go ahead. And if then I'm left behind and it's at 45 degrees, I have dexterity 16. I haven't gotten much luck
Just a
with that
parkour
one.
scene.
But I could try it. What are the chances that I fail it with dexterity 16 again?
20%. You're asking. Well, but they're still with you. I don't think, even if we retcon, because we would only find out now.
You would
Oh,
only find out.
yeah,
You would
that's
only.
right.
You would have only found out now because they were on the other side.
Yeah.
So yeah. So basically, now the way the room works is you've got a section of the east wall and a section of the west wall, that are now sloped down 45 degrees, so basically, there's now a gap. If you could look, like looking on the map, there's. So looking on the map, it's basically that 10-foot wide. If you could basically like.
It's a pretty large
So the
gap.
floor. So the floors are So the floor is down 45 degrees to the point where it's maybe only a few feet above the water below. And I'm going to say there's basically a 10-foot wide gap between the ends of those two, and it's maybe 5 feet above the water.
All right, so we'll just use the rope of climbing then. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Right?
Yeah.
In chat, Anya asks, "Can we use the rubber cement to get traction on our shoes?"
Well, it has to dry. I mean, yeah.
It does have to dry.
But you're right. It would give you a little bit of a. That's cool.
And Caldas has it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Let's do that.
I love it.
Anya, you just want to roll dice. You just want to roll dice. You want to have some chance of failure.
So, yeah. So if you put that on your shoes, I'm going to say that you can. It's going to be so from where you're standing. If you want to scramble across, if you want to try to scramble across the floors that are at that floor that's on that 45-degree angle, there's going to be a bit of a leap from where you're standing in the corridor to the floor, and there's not a lot to hang on to.
Well, no, because we're using the magic rope to give them a railing.
Okay, you are going to use the magic rope?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say if you're using the magic rope as a railing, or alternatively, if you just want to like hand over hand, yeah, let's see if you're using that as a railing. Yeah, I'm going to say getting across using if you're using if you're using the goo on your shoes and you're using the rope of climbing as a railing to get your way across, I'm going to say you can do it, but I'm going to say it's a dex check, but you're going to get I'm going to say all this other stuff is going to give you a bonus. I'm going to say it's going to give you going to give you like a +4 bonus on your roll.
Okay.
And a +4 bonus now again, you need to roll under. So this means you're going to get a +4 bonus on what is your score you're trying to roll under.
Right.
But the auto calculator should do that for when you make the dex check and it prompts you for like a bonus. If you put +4, it'll calculate it correctly. Or at least I think it will.
Is a 20 still a botch?
I only
a 20.
yes,
A 20 is still a botch. A 20 is a failure. Is always a failure on a ability check.
Okay, so I'm gonna cross out the vial of white goo for Zal.
Okay.
And I'm gonna roll since I have them open for Zal.
I can roll for Jerry.
Awesome. So dexterity +4. Is it supposed to pop up? Oh, here we go. +4. So threshold modifier 4, right? Oh,
No,
Jerry!
Jerry.
Father Tuck.
All right. So what happens?
So, I guess I'll describe it because it's an NPC. So, so Jerry is, he's like going along the rope, and I'm just going to say that maybe he didn't apply the rubber cement to his shoes, like to all of his shoes properly, and he slips while he's shimmying across. He slips, and it seems to and slipping startles him, and he loses hold of the rope, and he falls, and he falls, and he goes splash into the water.
Okay, Zal's not
And
gonna go ahead.
so he goes splash into the water, into the water below, and he does take because he's close enough. He's not going to take any damage from the fall because it's water. A moment later, he says, "Hey, it's okay. This water's only about 5 feet deep."
Get out of there. There's something in the water.
And
Rope.
like, ow, ow, ow. Hey,
I don't know
there's
who's
something biting me.
I don't know who's controlling the rope, but whoever's controlling the rope is gonna get the rope to directly lash down to be graspable by Father Tuck.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
So
totally
I
do
would
that.
imagine that one end is still at the magic door, and the other end lashes all the way down now into the gap to the water.
I mean, I think we can just say, for the sake of argument, that at this point, maybe he was like the last one going across. So I mean, it doesn't matter. However you wanted, if you want to have people on both ends, but
Okay.
So
and then as soon as he can grab it, we're gonna pull him up.
okay, I don't think there's a roll there. And as you're pulling him up, he's like holding the rope with one hand, and he's like whacking at these. He's whacking at these like fish the size of your hand that are like biting onto him. So yeah, so he does take 2d4 damage. So I'm gonna roll this open. So he took 5 points of damage from being attacked by a swarm of piranha.
Of course.
I have a fun piranha story when we are getting back from break.
Or I can. I want to hear it, Mike. I can take care of that. For 5 damage, I'll
Yep,
take care of it.
5 damage on Father Tuck.
Although
but
actually, Caldas, you have him open, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got it. Thank you.
I got it. 22, 17.
Okay, but using your rope of climbing, you're able to pull him up.
Okay. Well, that's a close one. You're okay, Father. You seem okay.
Says, I'll be fine. That was unpleasant. And he calls, and at that he calls a curse. He calls a curse on the fish from his god.
Who was
no
that again?
magical effect, just like, and I don't remember what god.
No, I'm just kidding.
What god Father Tuck worships. Oh, that's right. It was Saint Cuthbert.
Oh yeah, it's Saint Cuthbert.
It was Saint Cuthbert. I forgot about that. So he calls. So he raises his cudgel, and he says this. He says this like. He utters this. He invokes this curse on the fish from Saint Cuthbert.
Well, we've made it across. What say you?
Made it across. So, looking at the time, why don't we take a 5-minute break here?
Awesome.
Come back at 20 past.
Okay.
And we're back. Okay, let me reveal a little more on the map here. So through the secret door, it leads to yet another kind of like windy corridor. Where's the reveal area? Here we are. Move the dot that indicates where the party is. So a corridor like goes around and opens up into another room. So this passage enters into a 40 by 40 room with a 10-foot high ceiling with no visible doors. Near the northeast corner is a man-sized statue. No, well, statue? Is it a pillar? Is it kind of like it almost looks like a almost looks like a stalagmite rising up out of the floor, which is weird because this is a worked stone room and there's no stalactite above it. But this mound looks like it's about 5 feet high and maybe 2 feet in diameter. It's got kind of an irregular surface. It's it seems to be made of rock, but it seems to be a slightly darker color rock than the worked stone that comprises the rest of the room.
And it just juts out like a stub, like a
Yeah, it's
man
like
size.
Yeah, it's like 5 feet tall, about 2 feet wide, and it really does look more or less like a stalagmite rising up out of the floor, but there's no stalactite above it that would like drip down, and it might be a statue, but if so, it's a really weird looking statue.
Anything else in the room?
No, it's otherwise bare.
And there's
You
a door
think-
on the northern side.
think maybe behind that statue or stalagmite or whatever it might be, it looks like there's a passageway leading out of here, like immediately on the other side, but this thing's like right in front of that archway.
Yeah, I think I want to examine it closely for any devices or like, is there any indication that it's been moved to get here? Scratches on the floor, anything like that?
Why don't you give me a find traps roll?
Sure thing.
Okay.
That's a good find traps roll.
Okay. Well, as you approach it to get a better look at it, kind of in the center of it, facing you, maybe maybe 8 maybe like 8 or maybe a foot down from the top, an eye opens. Single eye. It's got it's a big eye. It's like about the size of your fist. It's got a bright red pupil. A mouth opens below that, and it goes, "Aah!" And suddenly out from like some of those irregular like kind of like the irregular channels that were going down to it. Animate. These are actually like stony tentacles that lash out at you. What is your armor class?
What is my armor class?
I was going to say
5.
this is. I'm going to treat this as a surprise round, and it is going to make an attack on you, Woodchuck. And it misses terribly. How are you able to like evade this thing's like stony ropey tentacles?
Yeah, I think that because I was on that heightened alert looking for traps, not expecting it to be a living thing, but really just trying to have like a good sense of awareness. The moment that movement occurs, like my first thought is, oh shoot, I triggered the trap. And not thinking of anyone else in the party, I just do a backflip out of its way as I was trained.
There you go.
by the circus, I suppose.
Okay, let's see here. Make sure this thing has okay. Well, that was a surprise round. So I guess it is time to roll initiative. Who wants to roll for the party? Go for it.
6.
Nice. Let's see what I get. I got a 3. The party wins. So it is your turn. There's this animated stalagmite monster. I'm just gonna tell you for those I'm just going to tell you for those fans of like old school monsters. Yeah, this sure looks like a roper, which is basically it's a monster that pretends to be a stalactite and a stalagmite and then attacks you.
We kind of had the version with that falls on the sky. Bah-Rûn is gonna yell, "Get out of there, Woodchuck!" and shoot the crossbow that he stole from the gnolls at that thing.
Okay.
And kind of start retreating in that corridor and inviting other people to retreat and shoot, basically.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing it's not very fast.
Yeah. It does actually have a movement rate, but it is not very fast at all.
So yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, sorry I jumped in, but just in the interest of jumping in the melee.
No, that's fine. Like move, like if people want to move into the room, that like movement happens before missile fire, but
well, he's encouraging people to move out, to basically shoot and move out.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if
so
you
go
could
ahead and take your shot.
He's within 80 feet. It's within 80 feet, I take it. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah,
add a
it's
+1.
10. Yeah, these are 10-foot squares, so 10, 20, 30. Yeah, it's like 40 feet from you.
I'm gonna add 1 then.
Okay.
And I rolled a 13, so that hits armor class 4.
The your bolt just kind of, it looks like your bolt would have hit it square, but it looks like this thing might actually literally be made out of living stone because the bolt like just ricochets off as if you'd hit something made of stone.
Got it.
Anyone else taking missile fire?
Would have, but after seeing that result.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Let's
Can I-
let's have it
I-
follow us and drop it in the piranhas.
I was thinking something like that, but I don't know.
I'm concerned about getting back over the pit
Yeah, that's true.
safely.
But let's run and do what can we do? Yeah. Well, anyway, I did
mean, I
what
have
I
a
had to do.
crowbar.
So up to you.
Yeah, I think if we can get
Um,
to melee
So-
stuff.
So if you're staying like in that last row of, if you're staying in the row that is like the closest to the far wall, this thing does have tentacles, but its tentacles only reach its tentacles reach 30 feet. If you stay on that far wall, you're outside of its reach, and it does not seem to be trying to get any closer to you. But it's definitely waving its 2 tentacles around.
I know then what I want to do. I have a flask of oil. I have 4 flasks of oil, but I don't know how many I have used for my lantern.
We can say you used 1.
Cool. So I have 3 flasks of oil, and I know I want to throw one and Molotov cocktail.
Molotov cocktail. Okay. Go for it. Make a hit roll.
I wrote down oil precisely for that. What's that? That hits armor class 7.
Okay. let me look up something. I'm not sure how this works in Old School Essentials. I know I looked it up once before and I don't remember what it is. Thankfully, we do have an SRD. The adventuring gear, oil.
Zal has it on his character sheet also, what happens with oil, if that's what you're asking.
Splash weapon. Okay, how does splash weapon work? So,
On a successful attack, the container smashes and doses the target with the liquid. The listed damage is inflicted for 2 rounds as the liquid drips off. The damage for that is, I think, the 8.
okay. I'm just gonna say for this thing doesn't
Yeah,
move. This thing has a
1d8.
really high armor class. So I'm going to do a table ruling here where I'm going to, I'm just going to tell you my reasoning here. This thing has a really good armor class, but you're throwing a splash weapon at it and you're not trying to penetrate its armor. You're just trying to like get around, like you're just trying to like get it. So I'm going to use a little, so basically in this case, I'm kind of taking a page from like D&D 3rd edition, where you have both you have an armor class, but you would also have some. 3rd edition would call that the touch armor class. Just because it just makes sense in the fiction that throwing a flask of oil against an unmoving thing that's of living stone, you don't have to get through its armor. You just want to get it where it is. So I'm going to say that hitting armor class 7 is going to hit. Even though if you're going to try to melee it, it's got a much better armor class than 7.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that hits. So let's go ahead and do some. And it does do damage. It does 8 points of damage.
Yes.
Let's
That's
calculate
the
my roll.
maximum damage for the.
Yeah,
for the-
yeah, that's max damage for flaming oil. Okay.
And it's that damage 2 rounds.
Okay. So we'll do.
Oh.
So you'll roll damage again on.
Okay.
So yeah, roll the damage again next round.
Okay.
So, anyone else like doing missile fire or spells or anything funky?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of getting close enough to it to hit it with a crowbar is what I would attack it with if I could get that close. I think I'm gonna give one shot at if there's any way to set fire to an arrow, whether it's like wrap a bit of cloth around it and just light it on a torch, just to add to the flame that it's taken since
Trying to make a flaming arrow. Sure. I'll say that. So yeah, I'm going to say you can make a flaming arrow. You can tie a piece of, you can tie some cloth and put some oil on it and light it on fire. That's going to imbalance the arrow. So I'm going to say that shooting it with a flaming arrow, I'm going to do a table ruling here. I'm going to say that's going to impose a -2 penalty on your hit, but it's going to do an extra 2 points of fire damage.
okay. Let's do. There's -2 to threshold, or is it +2 to
That'll be
threshold?
that'll be -2 on the threshold.
Okay. Natural 20.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
And was this a normal air? Like what weapon? So
I think that's
was this a magic
sorry,
arrow?
my
Was
dog
this
is barking a whole lot. I don't think I'd be using the magical bolts because I'm
Okay.
not sure if this is going to work.
Got it. So I'm going to say what happens here is, so yeah, you hit it. Or I should say your bolt hits it the bolt kind of snaps when it hits, but the fire definitely, the fire damages it, so it's going to take 2 points from the fire damage. I'm just going to tell you right now, this thing is immune to normal. This thing is immune to normal missiles. That's its big defense. You must use a. You can hit
Magic
it with
bolt.
normal. You can hit it with normal melee. You don't. It doesn't need magical melee weapons to hit, but you need magical missile weapons to hit it. Okay. And I'm going to say, now that you've like fired a few things at it, I think you all know
We're
that
reaching
now.
that conclusion. Yeah.
So like magic arrows or like throwing a magic dagger at it would affect it, but normal ones won't. But you can get close and hit it with normal melee weapons. Those will work. Do Zal and or so Caldas hasn't done anything yet. Why don't we ask? So what do you want to do?
Yeah, I threw the
Oh,
oil
you threw
just
the
as
you
well.
threw the oil. Right. So I guess that means
Caldas is gonna throw its magic dagger.
Zal's gonna throw-
Zal.
Zal throws his magic dagger. Okay.
I think he might have two actually, but he's gonna start, right? Oh, no, it's just a million range. Yeah, he's gonna throw it. Yeah.
Go
Is
for
this
it.
thing enchanted?
Yeah,
It is
it's a magic
enchanted.
dagger.
No,
That's a
sorry,
magic-
it's the
that's a magic-
creature.
Oh, is the creature enchanted? It is not. I'm going to say no. It's not really a magical creature.
Okay. So then here we go. And I guess I don't know if it's within actually short range. I should look at that
It's
for
30
dagger.
feet. It's like 30 feet.
So that seems like a lot. Okay, so I'm guessing it's not in short range. So it's just +1. Natural 1. So that's a
Natural
fail.
1.
Yeah.
Oh, here's what happens on a natural 1. Zal throws the dagger, and the creature's eye like turns toward the dagger and tracks it, and then one of its tentacles like one of its two tentacles just grabs the dagger out of the air. And now in one of its tentacles, it's waving a dagger around.
Ooh, okay.
Because natural 1.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry, Zal. Sorry, Jim. But that's what we did. And then, but it seems like we're all rushing to the door, but it's not following us, right? It's just waving.
I mean, you're in the room. You're gonna have to go. I mean, you're gonna have to get in order to get to the door on the other side. You're gonna have basically.
No, but it's
right
not
in front of
rushing
it.
after us. When we're at the
No,
door at
it's-
the bottom, it's
Nope.
we're safe.
It's staying put. It is not moving.
Awesome.
And what would Father Tuck like to do?
It's such a good question. You got him, right, Caldas?
I have his character sheet open, but he has a sling. If we think he will shoot at the range, and yeah, he has a sling. He has turned undead, but this isn't
This thing is not undead. No.
Yeah, so I think sling then.
Okay.
Just yeah. Because
Gonna
otherwise
fire a sling stone. Okay.
I'm not sure.
So
That
it looks like
hits
that.
-1, I think.
Well, this is part of us figuring out that it's not
Yeah.
that normal missile don't hit it, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I think he realizes that he throws that stone. He like slings that stone, and it looks like it would just squarely hit it, and it just bounces right off.
Got it.
Doesn't make the slightest dent in the thing.
Okay.
All right. So
I
we're
think
all
that's
holding our breath to see what it does on its round.
So you're staying out of the range of its tentacles. What is this thing's movement rate? And feet. Okay, it moved on its turn. It just kind of like shambles forward about 10 feet, which means you're now in its tentacles range. Basically, it moves like 10 feet. Yeah, it moves like 10 feet toward you. So it's kind of in this square now. But yeah, that means it's able to attack you with its tentacles. And how does this thing work? Okay, so let's see, who is it going to attack? 1, 2, 3, 4 Zal, 5 is Tuck. 6 means I need to roll again. It is attacking Father Tuck with its first attack and Zal with its second attack.
No.
Thank you, random dice. So it hits Father Tuck and it misses Zal.
Oh, poor Father Tuck is having a bad day.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
So first of all, so Father Tuck, this tentacle like wraps around him and like starts to drag him toward the thing's maw.
Jerry.
Oh my God.
No.
It's gonna take a round to drag him there.
And it's burning too, right? So it's pulling him into the flame.
Well, I mean, it does have flames around it. I think the flames are going to burn out this round.
Was it 2 rounds that he gets?
Yeah, well, it's going to take
Including the round it's hit.
Yeah, including the round it's hit. So
Okay.
it's going to take damage, and then it's going to take damage on your turn this round, and then the flames are going to go out. Translation: Jerry's not going to be subject to the flames.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's its action. What do you?
Does that deal any damage or?
Actually, no, it doesn't. Oh wait, it doesn't do any damage. However, Father Tuck, please make a saving throw versus poison.
I have saving throws, death and poison. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't want to roll for team anymore.
Poor Father Tuck. Father Tuck takes 6 points of strength damage.
Oh my God.
He is at 11 HP.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 6 points of strength damage. That's not damage. So his strength score is currently lowered by 6.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So that was its move. It is now your turn.
Okay, Bah-Rûn's gonna scream and charge at it. So that means the missile people go first, I think.
Yeah, anyone that's continuing with missile fire goes first.
Okay,
I
so
have a doubt. I have striking vulnerable monsters. Will that apply to ranged weapons?
I'm sorry. What's the ability?
Strike invulnerable monsters from the barbarian. At level 4, I can hit monsters that can normally only be harmed by magic.
Oh, nice. Let me double check that. I think that let me just double
Pretty
check that. I
awesome.
think that's a yes. I just want to read that ability. So,
That's a great ability.
Meanwhile,
yeah.
Woodchuck ducks around the corner to reload his crossbow with a magic bolt.
Doesn't say
Because I do
melee
have to
only.
take a turn.
Got it. Yeah. Caldas, doesn't the rules don't say it's only good on melee. So yeah, you can totally do that.
Go ahead, Woodchuck. I just wanted to check on that.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm doing is reloading. It takes a round.
Got it.
Okay, so
Anyone else? Are you taking a shot?
I am. I'm
Okay.
gonna throw a hand axe to the monster.
All right.
Ranged. No.
Oh, bummer.
No.
I'm gonna say
Poor
that
Gary.
it doesn't grab the hand axe out of the air but with the other tentacle that's still holding on to Zal's magic dagger. It just like flicks your hand axe out of the way, and it just kind of like clatters onto the floor, kind of like behind it.
If you were a mean GM, it'd be Jeremiah catches the hand axe with his back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm never a big fan of like hitting your friends when you're firing into melee. I know that was a big thing in 3.0, and
Yeah.
I just never found that I just never found that a lot of fun.
It is
Anyone
kind
else
of
taking?
fun when the monsters do it though.
Yeah, that's true. Anyone else doing missile fire? Okay, it's time for melee. Bah-Rûn, you are entering melee, so yeah, you can run right up to it and make an attack.
Okay. And
I
is
mean,
Geronimo gonna be
this thing is dragging Geronimus with this tentacle. Oh yes, Caldas, roll some burning oil damage.
That's 1 damage.
Oh, that sucks. Okay.
all right? Bah-Rûn is gonna charge this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it hits armor class 6.
Okay. That does not penetrate this thing's armor because this thing is literally made of rock. What does that look like when you try to attack this thing with? You're not able to get through its thick stony armor. What does that look like?
Well, I think there's it's a magic sword axe, so I don't think it's gonna break, but it does a groove, and there's like sparks going up like metal on rock, and there's like a lot of sparks, but he lets a curse in dwarvish, seeing that it doesn't get through at all.
Okay.
Does Chuck, as he's being pulled, can he try to hit it with his mace?
He can actually. Please note that he's currently operating at a lower strength score because he has taken 6 points of strength damage. But yeah, but now that he's close, he can certainly attack the thing with his mace.
I mean, just a suggestion. I think you're in charge of him, Anya, but that would make sense, right, in the fiction?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
What
he
is,
does have a -6 to strength. But
yeah,
I think
so that would
that's
put
what he will do.
That would put his strength at,
At 10.
yes.
Okay.
So should
So
I
that
go for it?
means he's gonna, so 10 strength, normally he's got a,
He's
normal
normally got a,
normally he's got a 16, right?
yep, that's a +2 to strength, and 10 from what this is calculating
10 is a
a
0, I believe.
10,
Okay.
0.
Okay, yeah, so go ahead and make an attack roll with this. It's a magic mace, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Ooh, the dice are not cooperating with you tonight.
no.
That's a miss.
That's a 2 on the die.
That we were doing so much better in the previous room.
Oh yeah, yeah. Before I showed up, I see how it is.
And what would Zal like to do, if anything?
Oh, such a good question. This is not going well. Hold on, let's see what Val can do. That would be helpful here. I don't think we're not going to be using a spell on this. So, and he's used his magic. So I don't think Zal's going to do much other than try to. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do anything. He's going to scream encouragement to his compatriots.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry. He's gonna throw another oil flask at the one that is getting turned off.
Okay.
I'm gonna reduce
for
oil
it.
flask to 4, and he's gonna. So how did that work? We're just we're throwing.
Yeah, go ahead and make a hit roll. I'm gonna say this thing isn't. I'm gonna say that if with splash weapons, yeah, it's got a better armor. It's got a worse armor class versus splash weapons. So go ahead and make an attack roll. I don't know if you have it. I don't know
And
if Zell has it.
what's the damage?
1d8.
D8.
D8.
1d8. Okay, 1d8. All right, so let's try. He's gonna throw this oil. 13.
Yeah, that'll hit. So
Okay, well there you go.
4 damage. Yeah, this thing does not seem to like fire very much.
Okay, that's good to know. So I think that's all of us, no?
Okay, I think it is. So I guess it's the next round, and it goes. So the first thing it's going to try to do is attack Bah-Rûn with its tentacle, with its one remaining tentacle.
I got a number class of 1.
I rolled ambiguously such that I actually have to look this up. Say 6 dice monster. And that hit armor class 3, so that's a miss.
Okay, so he
Then, well, that was
dodges.
one of its tentacles. With its other tentacle, it drags Geronimus to its maw and then tries to bite him.
Oh my god, poor Geronimus.
Poor Geronimus. Oh man. And I roll a 19 and that hit armor class -5. So yeah. What is this thing?
Tim's gonna come back and be like, "What did you do to me?"
We'll be like, watch the YouTube. Don't worry about it.
Poor Jerry.
No, we're gonna pull through. It's gonna pull through.
Bites for 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. 13. That's 13 HP then, because the other one was strength.
Got it. And that's its attacks. It is now your turn. First of all, I think Zell's roll more burning oil damage.
Okay, yes. Here we go. 7.
Nice. Yeah, this thing is definitely, it looks like this thing is definitely being affected by all the fire. So who all is shooting missiles at it?
All right, I'm firing a crossbow.
Okay, take your shot.
Now with my new and improved magic bolts.
Nice.
It's a 21, and that'd be 5 damage
Ooh.
rather than 4.
A 21 will.
It's interesting that it didn't give me the chart.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't give you the chart. That's odd.
What is my THAC0? My THAC0 is 17.
You also
So I'd hit a
in your
negative
character
4.
sheet,
So you hit a -4, so that hits for 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Yeah, this-
5 because it's a
Oh.
+1 bolt.
Yeah, you definitely hit this thing. What does it look like hitting this? What does it look like definitely hitting and hurting a creature apparently made out of stone when you shoot it with a magic arrow?
I think what I picture is almost like the knives in Dune, how you have to like make contact and then drive it through, but this being a magic bolt, that's what it does. Is like normally it would glance off, but it hits and then like bears its way into the creature.
I love it. That's awesome. Anyone else doing missile fire? Okay. Anyone casting spells?
Father Tuck is okay, right? Caldas is not gonna die.
he's not gonna immediately die, but he's
Okay.
at half his HP.
Because he could heal himself, I'm saying.
Yep.
But,
Okay.
We're all gonna die eventually.
Well, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to be Mr. Gloom and Doom.
So Bah-Rûn on the melee, he wants to jump on that tentacle and free. He wants to try to pull it off to free Father Tuck instead of taking an attack.
Got it. You're going to try to like cut the tentacle.
No,
Totally try to do that.
to pull it off to get him out.
Oh, okay. You're trying to pull the tentacle off. You're trying to pull
Open.
the.
I'm gonna
pull them out. Okay.
I'm gonna try to pull a tentacle open. Ah!
Okay. Okay. I think that's. I think that's going to be a strength check.
Okay. Penalties.
No, I don't think so. Just go ahead and make the strength check.
Okay. 9.
I think you have, you have extricated, yes, you have extricated, Father Tuck from the tentacle.
Okay, great.
What did, go ahead, like, what, so, why don't you go ahead and tell us what that looks like?
I think it's a pure show of strength. He grabs the tip of it essentially, right? And he just pulls off and his muscles tense up and he's grinding his teeth and finally manages to pull it off and to grab Father Tuck out of that embrace, hopefully getting him his strength back and giving him a chance to hit that round.
Okay, awesome. Cool, you have freed Father Tuck. Anyone else in melee? Well, I think that's definitely Father Tuck. Caldas, what are you doing?
Yeah, hitting it with my sword, with calf sword. I'm gonna run straight at it and try to
Okay.
hit it. No,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
you are not able to get through this thing's stony armor. What does that look like?
I think I was sort of thinking the same as Bah-Rûn, trying to free Jerry, and then he runs at the same time as I do, and then I have to pull my hit in order not to hit them both.
Love it. Cool. So Woodchuck has
And-
shot. So what does Father Tuck want to do?
I rolled for Jerry's mace. I'm afraid to roll for him.
You can do it.
Okay, he's gonna take his mace and get
Look at
back
that.
yes,
Boom.
get back at this monster.
Armor class 3.
Armor class
Yes.
3.
Armor class 3 is going to hit, and it does 9 points of damage. And Father Tuck has ended this, has killed this thing. Go ahead and what does that look like?
Nice.
What I'm thinking is the creature is flailing its tentacles to grab us three that we are closer to it. So maybe his eye is open, and Jerry just smashes it in the eye, and yeah, it falls to its back.
Nice. Okay.
I just
yeah,
picture just profuse cursing in the name of Saint Cuthbert. We might even just cut away and we just see like birds flying away from the entrance to the cave.
we hear indecipherable like echoed words, and I love it. Okay, you have killed this, and it's not just a roper, it was a stow roper. It was a roper made of stone.
Wow.
It says right here, stow roper.
Are you okay, Father Jerry? Do you need well, I guess you can heal yourself probably if you need to, but are you gonna be okay?
Says Jerry. That was not pleasant. No. I think I'll be okay.
All right. So we don't need, I guess that's my question for the group. Do we need to expend resources to get him back on his feet if we have any? Because we've already used our healing potions, right? So we
I
actually
think we
don't
did.
have anything left. Okay. Well, actually, that'd be
So-
a useful check. What do we have in by way of healing resources at this point?
I'm reading Jerry has 1 potion of healing and his spells.
Can
What if
we
you
use
selectively use a potion of diminution just on the wound and make the wound smaller?
If only that worked.
and this in this version, it's not like he can use a second level slot for cure light wounds, right? He's got to use it for his
you're
bless
locked in.
recipe.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
locked into the ones you've prepped.
Okay. All right. So we're out of healing basically. Good, which is good to know.
So I'm just gonna say, so Zell is like, he approaches, he retrieves his magic dagger, and it's like poking at this thing, and I'm gonna say that Zell just knows. I've heard that ropers have a gizzard, and that they keep their indigestible things and that ropers keep indigestible things that that its prey might have been carrying. So this thing may have some kind of treasure inside of it.
Well, there's only one way to find out, lad. So I'm gonna take a dagger and start slicing from the side of the mouth where there's an opening, and then follow the digestive tract all the way to where the gizzard might be.
Yeah, and it's kind of gross, but yeah, you find its gizzard, and there's definitely some things in its gizzard. You're able to pull it out, and you find the following things. Someone wants to put this on your treasure list.
Okay, I'll do that. Here we go. Treasure A3. Got it.
So you find let's see. You find some coins, specifically 15 platinum pieces.
Okay, 15 platinum pieces.
You also find 5 gems.
Okay.
And you find 2 stoppered potion bottles.
Okay. Do we have any sense of how much the gems are worth? Or is that for us to find out later when we show them to a jeweler in town?
I am going to say,
And if so, what do you want? How do you want me to call them? Like gems from the toe?
yeah, well, we can call them, they're red gems. They're garnets. I'm just going to tell you, they're worth 100 gold pieces each.
500 total.
And let me just do one thing real quick. Let me look at one other thing here.
I think Zal's gonna be looking at these potions, tasting them if he can.
Yep. I'm going to just say that one of the all of those gems look more or less the same, but one looks different.
Okay.
One looks a little different from the rest. It's got a different cut, and it's slightly larger.
Okay. So 4 of them are the 100 piece, and then there's another one that's slightly larger and different.
Yep.
Okay. 1 gem, 1 larger gem. Garnet 2.
It appears to be, yes. It's probably a garnet because it's more or less the same size and shape, but yeah, there's something odd about this. There is something odd about this other one. As for the potions, I'm just going to say that I'm just going to tell you what they are. You generally take a little, you unstopper it, you take a little sip, and it tells you what it is.
Yeah.
These are both potions of healing.
Okay. I'm gonna let Zal hold on to them. Well, at least to one of them right now. And then maybe you just give yours away, Caldas, to me before? You had one,
Yep.
right? So
had a
is
few,
everyone
but-
okay with Caldas getting her portion of healing back? Okay, so if you know if that's okay with you, it's a little nasty, but you want to wipe it off.
I take it and just try to clean it with the bottom of my clothes as far away from my nose as I can.
And Zal is
it's-
very intrigued by that bigger garnet that looks odd, and so he's like doing everything he can to try to figure out what it is, looking at it in the light, tapping it against the stone, like touching it to see if it feels any different. Trying to understand if there's something about the cut that would tell him something about the usage of it.
So looking, so yeah, looking through actually like holding it up to the light and looking through the gem, things look like clearer, and it looks like secrets might be revealed.
Ooh,
This
like
is-
maybe secret doors.
This is a gem of seeing.
Okay, I'm gonna
Say magic
gonna-
item.
I'm gonna give it to I think Zal, unless seems Zal's gonna hold on to it for us. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, Zal, this gem of seeing. So that enables, well, we'll figure it out, but it enables him to see doors or things like that.
It does. I'll just tell you what it does, because you can, when you're looking through the gem, you can see secret doors. You can see traps. You can see invisible creatures. You can see illusions.
Wow. See, that's awesome.
There,
Invisible creature.
yeah, there is a chance that there's a chance that it may malfunction, and it has a range of 30 feet.
And but it's not, it's not a certain number of uses. You can keep it in front of your eye the whole time.
Well, I mean, you got to hold it up to your eye and do that, so it, so
Yeah.
you can't really, it's not a constant effect. It's something you're going to have to take out and use.
It's an action.
And
Got
with
it.
a monocule.
Yeah, like a monocle.
Stick it in
Yeah.
your eye like a monocle. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So that's I was like surprised to see this in the adventure, because that's a super powerful item, but it may very well come in handy.
Okay, awesome.
So looking at the time, I think we have probably enough time for one more encounter area.
Okay.
So let's keep going. Let me do some reveal area. So you wander through you continue to like wander through this maze of, you wander through a maze of twisty passages, all alike.
So twisty.
So twisty, it takes you a while, but you eventually find a door.
Yeah, that
I
would be
think at
so.
some point in this, I say, so you can start to see how it feels like we've backed all the way around and come to, like we've hit various dead ends. This is that whole mirrored layout that I was talking about before.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Yeah, so it stands to reason that everything that we've covered so far will begin to repeat in the other direction, starting on the other side of this door.
Let's be ready for living stalactites.
Yeah, that's challenge one, right on the other side.
So wait a second, I didn't quite follow. So what is on the other side of the door, Woodchuck?
Another one of those tentacled stalactites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe would you go straight to the Earl this time? What do you think?
Well, my thought was, we know that it doesn't like fire, and it seems like we attack it with magical ranged weapons, we're in good shape. We have a lot of corridor right behind us. So I think we open the door and then we just back down the corridor again and
Yeah.
draw it out, but maintain a wide enough distance that it's not able to hit us with its long tentacles.
Perfect.
All right, let's do this.
It's gonna be so surprised. It's never know what's coming.
It's like, you must know my brother.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right.
I'm rereading this room description because I
And
don't
it
quite get
doesn't
it
match
yet.
any of that.
That's okay. We're gonna take that time to reload our crossbows. What dice did you just get? Vincent.
Well, it's my wife's dice, and she was showing off her new dice, but they're stone, with
Ooh.
like what appears to be like a gold threading through it.
Nice.
Not gold, but yeah, they're fancy, they're nice, they're heavy.
Nice.
I didn't get any nice dice. I'm playing
Surprised they're
an
not selling
Aerie
NFT
game
dice
though.
for Roll20.
Yeah. I think that WotC had actually wanted to explore just like the stupidest sounding NFT idea of like having a character who's on the blockchain and you can get unique magic items that are on the blockchain for them. And then you can sell your character when you're ready to retire them so that somebody buys your 20th level character that they don't actually want to play off of you.
Got it. Yeah, there was some other, it wasn't WotC, but there was some other company that was doing, I think it's called Gripner or something like that, that was doing basically that. They were setting up their own NFT based like organized play system. So
It goes without saying that as we go through this maze, Zal is like using his newly found gem to look for secret doors and such.
there we go. So this empty room is 20. So yeah, you listen at the door. There's nothing. You open the door. This empty room is 25 feet wide and 20 feet deep with wooden walls. There's a wooden door on the opposite wall. Looks like it's actually marked with a. Looks like there's an error on the map. It's marked with a secret door. That's actually just a regular door. All the wood in this room is similar to knotty pine. It is old, heavy, and full of knots.
Where's the wood on the walls are made of wool?
All the walls are
Wood.
made of. All the walls, yeah, the floor and the ceiling are stone, but the walls of this room are all made of wood.
That's weird, right?
That
That seems weird.
doesn't seem like a stalactite, which also seems weird. They might have
I mean,
remodeled since I was
trees
last
are
in here.
kind of stalactites because
Yeah, there's no
Here's-
stalactites.
wood is
It's
made
like
of trees and
worked stone, like carved out of the bedrock.
Maybe we call it a lucky break. Maybe it's
When's the last lucky break that we caught? And
I
don't say
know.
the
We're
pool
due.
of white sludge that was breathable, because I guess that was kind of a lucky break.
Yeah, we were due for something. Well, be careful for these walls. Knotty pine, you said.
Knotty pine. Lots of like there's lots of knots in these boards. I guess they must. I guess when they bought their lumber from Home Depot, they didn't opt for the they didn't opt for prime.
Zal's gonna
They're definitely
walk
not.
in.
They're
Go ahead.
definitely knots and not holes.
They are knots. Yeah, they're not holes. They are knots. Although you could probably, I mean, like if you've dealt with lumber, you could probably like tap some of these knots out to make holes.
Bah-Rûn's gonna step in and tap with his heavy hands on the sides to see if they're hollow.
Pretty much the whole room sounds like it might. I mean, they're like. I mean, it's not solid like the wooden. I mean, it's not solid like a stone wall. So yeah, it does sound. Tapping on the wooden wall would make you think that probably, yeah, it's probably just a wooden wall. It's not like wood on top of. It's not like wood paneling on stone walls. It's like an actual wooden wall.
And there's space behind it. Okay.
There's some kind of space behind it from in the whole room.
and there isn't any other door in this room.
No, just the one door. Just the one door. Why did I do this? Let's do a draw shape.
Okay.
do
Woodchuck, you want to
this.
listen to those walls or listen to that door?
I did that backwards.
It's the single door we came through, I think.
Yeah, I'll go and I'll give it a listen. See if I hear anything. Here's my character
Okay.
sheet.
Give me just a sec here. Just to indicate where the door is.
Okay, so I go. I think I probably have like a glass that I'm able to set against the door so that I can hear the vibrations more clearly.
Okay, yeah, so you listen at the door. Go ahead and make a.
Hear noise check. I have a
Actually,
success.
I take that back. I should probably. Oh well, you've already done that. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, that should be a secret roll. You don't hear anything because there's nothing on the other side to hear.
I'll go ahead and play that as I would, which is I don't hear anything.
Nope.
I checked the door for traps.
Okay, yeah, I will roll that in secret. What is your chance?
40 is my threshold.
So looking at this door, you can tell that it's like looking at this door, you can tell there's something weird about it. Specifically, it looks like it looks like it's designed to appear to be stuck. And now that you're looking at it, you think that it appears to be stuck such that someone would attempt to basically throw their shoulder into it to force it open. But that would be bad. Because it looks like there's a mechanism that if you do try to force it, the whole door frame is just going to like move backwards. And you think that's going to be a trigger for something, but you can't tell exactly what from here.
Could we try to take it off of its hinge? Like
Yes, you
dismantle
could.
the door.
Yes, you could. And in fact, I don't think there's a roll there if you want to take the time to basically take this door off its hinges and like, I mean, it's going to take you a few minutes, but
That's
yeah,
fine.
you can take this door off. Yeah, it's pretty easy because it's like set into it's set into like wooden walls. So, you know, using like the little keyhole saw that's in your set of lockpicks, it's not that difficult. After about 10 minutes of work, you're able to remove the door from its frame, and you realize that there's about 2 feet of space between these wooden walls and the more familiar stone walls behind it. And let me do more of a reveal. And let me get rid of that false door. Again, where that secret door is marked on the map, that's where that false door was. And now that you can see the walls, you see that the actual stone wall is full of like holes that are maybe 2 inches wide, and like shining your light in there, you see that inside each of these hole is looks like the pointy end of a spike.
No.
Are they
The
by any
most notable
chance
thing is that
aligned
it would
with
appear nobody has ever triggered that before. Everyone must know to take the door off the hinge. I take a look to see like where the actual triggering mechanism is. That the door is set to
It
set
looks
off.
like the actual, now that you're here, it looks like the actual triggering mechanism is this door, like the real door that's set in the actual wall. And it looks like it's rigged to swing 2 ways. Like you
Okay,
could
so
swing
if
it, you could swing it inward, or you could swing it toward you. And it looks like what triggers, it looks like, again, I rolled a 0-1 on your find traps, so I'm just going to give this to you. So it looks like if you're going to just try the original wooden door that you removed from the hinges, it was going to seem like it was stuck. So someone would try to force it open by like, slamming their shoulder into it. That would cause the door to like move forward, hit the inner door, and cause it to swing outward. If you cause it to swing outward, then all of these, then basically all of these spikes in the wall would shoot out, and now it looks like all of those spikes were like basically lined up with the knots on the wooden walls. So they just basically just go right through the walls unimpeded, and would do a whole lot of damage to anyone who is standing in that room.
Somebody really cared about getting this right. I just appreciate the craftsmanship of making sure that the knots in the boards.
They
in
don't
the
make
false
traps like
walls.
that. They don't make traps like that anymore. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
I nearly want to trigger it just to see it. You know, 'cause
It's-
it's just a thing of beauty.
here's what I'm thinking. First, just in case I'm wrong about how this works, how about everybody else gets out of the room and I'll open the door in.
Okay.
But then we can all go through and just, pull the door through the other way. Just so we can
Oh,
go back and take a
everyone
look.
go through. Oh, okay. So everyone's going to go through. You open the door the right way. Everyone goes through, and then you pull it the other way just so you can see the spikes shoot out.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Whew.
Someone spent a lot of time lining up all of those knot holes.
And
There's gonna be
it's
a lot
all
of-
ruined now.
But don't walk barefoot in that room because the splinter situation is like insane.
I do want to take a glance through after we've had the wreckage to see if there had been anything that had been like hidden away in one of those many spike holes that's been pushed out when the spikes went out.
Sure, you take a moment, and that's how this works. Okay, so they shoot. I mean, they don't like fire like arrows. They spring forward, so that basically they're these like long spear-like spikes made of iron that shoot into that thrust into the room, and then after like a minute or so, you hear a click, and then a clockwork click, 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 as the spikes then kind of like retract back into their holes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And does it look like nothing happened? Like does it look like this ever could have been triggered before, or is like every time that it gets triggered?
As they come back, as the spikes come back, it looks like because when the spikes shoot through like the knot holes, they like push the knot holes, they push like the knots out. But when they retract back, they just, the knot, the wooden knots just like go right back into their holes. And now that you're looking at them, it looks like a lot of those knot holes, like the very center of a lot of the knot holes was hollow, which you didn't notice at first, or you just thought that was natural. But yeah, this is ingenious. Someone spent an awful lot of time lining all this up perfectly.
Wow. We need to figure out who designed this. And they're probably enslaved by these awful slavers.
Well, I mean, the person who actually designed this was, Alan Hammock, the author of the adventure. But these are some of the most bizarre OSR. These are some of the most OSR-ish of like complex, weird OSR traps I think I've ever encountered. These are just nuts.
Okay, so with the trap solved, and there's like a 2-foot space between, like a crawl space almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I wanna go through and see if like, there's any neat little goodies in any of these holes or anything like that. Not
Yeah,
expecting anything, but
I was gonna say, yeah, you search through there. I was gonna say if we were playing trophy, I'd have you make a hunt roll, but there's nothing there to find.
yeah. Man, that was cool. Let's get going.
You follow the corridor up to
Mhm.
another door.
Check for traps and listen at door.
And Zal's gonna check with his gem also.
Oh, Zell's gonna look through his. Oh, okay. Zell's gonna look through his gem of seeing. The door is not trapped. It is, however, locked.
And do I hear anything on the other side?
What is your hear noise check?
It's a 1d6, 1 through 4 is a success.
1 through 4 is a success.
I don't know why of all of the thieves skills, they suddenly decided that that one should be a d6 instead of a d100.
I don't either. I'm gonna say, yeah, it's quiet, but with your very sensitive ears, you hear you hear someone say something like in like a loudish stage whisper, and then someone else basically goes shh. And what may I ask? What like Woodchuck? What languages do you speak?
Not many, from my actual list. I think it's just like common and something. It's not much.
Got it. I want to know what that something is.
Oh, I might not. Oh, I'm not smart enough to speak a second language, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, it's
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably thieves can't would be like if I have a second language,
yeah. This
but
is not
that's
thieves
just a
can't.
variation on common.
I was gonna say I think thieves know thieves can't. Period. But anyway, yeah, you hear like some kind of like guttural grunting. It's definitely language, but you don't understand what they were saying.
Does it sound like the gnolls that we talked with before?
It actually does sound a bit like how the gnolls were speaking.
Okay. So I say, I think somebody might be speaking Gnollish.
Mm.
Bah-Rûn, did somebody know Gnoll, or did we just rely on them knowing common?
I don't know. No, I know Dwarvish, Gnomish, Goblin, and Kobold.
Well, somebody's on the other side of this.
Yeah, there's somebody on the other side.
We've kind of been perhaps talking louder than we should.
Okay. More. How many people can you hear?
At
Oh,
least
at least
two.
two.
At least two. Okay.
What
So-
could we do to jury rig a trap and then make louder noise to try to trick somebody to come through? Like try to like loudly pick the lock or something.
To get them to come to the wooden room?
Well, no, not that far. I think that's too far. But if we can set up an ambush
Oh, I see.
and
Oh, to get them to come to you. Got it.
yeah,
I mean, if one of us ran in there alone, looking very vulnerable, and ran away, they would probably run after him, no? Or her.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe what we could do is I could poorly use my elven cloak get a deliberate failure of trying to be sneaky to try to provoke oh, here's a thief who thinks he's sneaky. Let's get him. And then I run away and lead them into an ambush.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing if one of us shows up, they'll start runs away. They'll run after us. I mean, you could even sneak into the room at that point and hope that you're alone in that room when they follow us. I mean, if you want to do the revealing yourself, that's a good idea.
Yeah. How about this? Let me toss this out as an idea. Let me try to pick the lock on the door. How tall is the ceiling here?
In the corridor, it's 10 feet.
Yeah, 10 feet. It's a rough pick. So I'm able to climb sheer walls. And I'm wondering about I'm just picturing in those kind of
So are you talking about, trying to
spread eagle and get myself supported at the ceiling after I pick the lock, so that when they chase the rest of the group, I can drop in behind them.
I'm going to say you could do that. That would be a climb walls check.
You could be behind the door with your invisible. Okay. Anyway, sorry. That's a great idea.
Yep. Yeah. I like it.
First, I have to open the lock, though.
So looking at the time, I think what we're going to do is let's determine if you can pick the lock, and then we'll figure that out, and then we'll figure out what you want to do after that.
Okay.
If someone goes into the room, I'll tell you what's in the room, and we'll probably end on that cliffhanger.
Okay, so here's a open locks roll. Ooh, not great. Failed by over 40.
Got it. Why aren't you able to pick this lock?
I think that the craftsmanship of it is just very unfamiliar. It's not delicate, and I don't really have tools on me that deal with locks where the chamber, or the hammers and the chamber are that heavy, so I can't actually get the leverage to pop them up.
Okay. So what is your plan, folks?
Dwarven lockpick.
Dwarven lockpick, you said?
Yeah. Which means hit it with your axe.
I hit it with my axe.
Well, so it is locked, right? It
is locked.
Yeah.
It is a wooden door.
Yeah, we don't have knock. We have hold portal, but that's the opposite of knock.
That's the opposite of, yeah. That temporarily locks a door. It doesn't. Doesn't unlock a door.
We got ESP. No, I don't think we've got anything. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to either we ram it or we knock on it and see who opens it, and we're ready with 2 loaded crossbows.
Yeah, and I'll go into my hiding spot up on the ceiling.
Anya, do you have an idea?
My idea is, and I don't know if this works, similar to what Woodchuck was going to do, but I get a python. You said a python? Python?
Piton.
A python.
Python. I was wrong. I kept on saying python.
Over the door, and I have a rope. Maybe we can make a nozzle. Is that what it's called? Nozzle.
A noose?
One of these sliding noose. A noose. So that if somebody comes through the door, we.
That's kind of grim, but I also like it.
Well, but I'm thinking more in the sense of these rabbit traps, so we can hang them upside down.
Got it.
You're not making it any less grim there.
Well, it's just around the foot instead of around the neck. It's less grim.
That's a good idea. Okay, so a couple of people are finding their way above the door, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm thinking we knock the door, we get the trap, and At least we'll get rid of one of them. Maybe.
Okay, so now the question is, do we try to get so the two of you are above the door, you two, Woodchuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then the question is, do we try to break that door down, or do we knock, losing the surprise, and wait and
Well, I
see
mean-
what happens?
I mean, you can try to force the door open. That's I think that's going to be I'm going to pull my old first edition AD&D player's handbook. I think that's going to be a Ben Bars lift gates roll, because that doesn't exist in OSE, but I think that's awesome. So you can try that. That's going to depend on your strength, and that's actually doesn't have the percentage for that is actually not super high, but you can give it a try. If that doesn't work, then probably your next bet would be to like try to chop the door down, but that's going to A, be really loud, and B, that's going to take a couple of rounds.
I think we knock on the door and expect some of them to come true.
I mean, there's no living soul on this side of the dungeon that could conceivably be there for them. The piranhas. Okay. So which one are you saying, Anya? We should knock, or we should try to break it and then see who comes through if that doesn't work.
I'm saying knock and run to a better position. If you are the one knocking, knock
Okay.
and run to a better position.
Leaving
Leave
the two of
a
you-
flaming bag of poop outside
Yeah.
the door of it.
Okay.
And
Okay, so
I
we'll-
think
Ding dong
If
ditch.
Woodchuck is-
Okay.
it's on top of the door, and I'm gonna pull on the rope. Maybe
Okay.
I'm at the end of the corridor, just waiting to pull on the
Okay.
rope.
So so you're just gonna like dunk, 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 knock on the door and hope someone answers? Is that the idea?
The
Or am I
first
or am I
idea.
misunderstanding?
Yeah, although if we're just knocking, I could take one shot at breaking it, which if it doesn't work is like a knock. All right, I'll take a shot at breaking the door.
Okay, let me grab my player's handbook.
And if
Okay.
it doesn't work, we do exactly that. I retreat to the corner. Woodchuck is above the door, right?
Yeah, you said I had to make a climb check on that?
I don't think we need a check there. I think
Okay.
I think
I think that's more like for climbing really long distances to see
Yeah,
that fall damage.
exactly. I don't think we need a check there. Okay, looking at the first edition AD&D Ben Bars lift gates check. What is your strength?
16.
So a 16 means you have a 10% chance of forcing this door open one shot.
my God.
Hold on. Let me double check that. Do I have this? Yeah, this is a locked door. It's not a stuck door. So yeah, it's 10% chance is Ben Bars lift gates.
Ah. Oh man, stuck doors. Oh wait, locked doors. I don't know. I don't think I can open them. Okay. All right, so this is gonna be the knock, unless by magic I manage to open it. So I'm gonna basically knock it, but with my shoulder. I'm gonna roll a D100. You wanna less than 10%, 10% or less,
Yep.
right?
10% or less.
4. No, that was
Whoa!
a D10.
Oh, that was
No,
a
no,
D10.
no, that was a
That was a
D10.
D10.
That was a D10. Here we go.
Never mind.
66.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, it could happen. I mean, I was playing Call of Cthulhu earlier in the week, which is all percentile dice, and somebody like rolled an 01 on their percentile dice.
Yeah.
Massive critical success. But
All right.
in
So
this case, no.
we knocked on the door as planned,
Oh,
and then Bah-Rûn with his little legs is gonna run to the corner as planned and aim to the door with his crossbow.
So someone else is going to knock, or you're just gonna wait?
Oh, I was expecting my shoulder bump was loud.
It was pretty loud.
But I can knock also and then do
If
the
you
run.
if there's the thump at the door and you just wait, nothing happens.
Okay. So this time I'm gonna knock. And
Just-
and
And run.
run.
Say something.
Okay, so you
Grunt,
just kind of
grunt
like
or something.
knock on the door.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you knock on the door, and there's a moment, and the door just you hear a click, and the door swings open, and a booming voice. So you look into the room?
No, because I went to run. I run to the corner.
Oh,
and
you
then-
ran back. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to see something from my vantage point.
Okay, so you're kind of like looking down. And, I'm just going to reveal the room, and I will read the box text.
Oh,
Ooh.
Get rid of all this stuff. There we are. Okay. This room is 130 feet long, 100 feet wide, and 30 to 40 feet tall. There are 4 long rows of pillars, 2 on each side of the room, and a long space between them that is occupied by a large reptilian creature with a heavy shell and a tail that looks like a giant mace. At the far end of the room is a throne. Sitting on the throne is a tall, emaciated creature that looks like a 10-foot tall knoll whose evil eyes glow with a bright amber color. The creature bears a 7-foot long flail with 3 massive heads. To the right of the great marble throne are 6 tall gnolls with halberds. And to the left are 6 leering ghouls. The creature sitting on the throne looks up and says, who dares enter the inner sanctum? And I think we
And
might
nobody answers.
and
Yeah,
I think we might end there.
yeah. There's no one behind the door. They're gonna freak out. They're gonna think it's some sort of poltergeist.
I think we're going to end it there. So, you got to the last. So this is the last room of this dungeon. It's not the last room of the adventure because there's another dungeon after this one. There's going to be a little investigation area after that, but we're going to have to get through this kind of like set piece encounter, which I think we will do next time.
Sounds good.
So, I'm going to end the recording here. We can do a little debrief exercise afterwards, but I prefer to do that off camera. So, if anyone was actually watching this video, thank you for watching, and hope we see you again soon. Thanks, folks. Good night.